What's up, everyone? Giant Opinions here. Today I'm going to be bringing you my 5 teams I think could go ahead and make a move to acquire Francisco Lindor, shortstop from the Indians. Let's just jump right into it. Number 1, I'm just going to knock this out of the way, the New York Yankees, okay? First of all, they have the payroll. They can afford to give him a new contract come a few years. DJ LeMahieu is most likely gone from the team. And they can move Gleyber Torres back to second base where he's generally better, and they can insert Francisco Lindor at shortstop. The Yankees are a team that they have a lot of talent. Francisco Lindor would put them over the edge in my opinion, and I could definitely see them heading to the ALCS for sure, and the World Series most likely. Now they do need to improve pitching, but the Yankees are a big market team. I could easily see them going there and then making the move to mortgage some of their farm system to get the best shortstop in baseball. Now, number 2, I got the New York Mets, okay? Steve Cohen's press conference, he said he wants to win, okay? He said, I believe it was anywhere from 3 to 5 years is when he wants his team to make the World Series. And if you go ahead and acquire Francisco Lindor, he will be a building block for this Mets team. He will be an established and bona fide star. He's going to be great for the Mets. He's a huge upgrade over Ahmed Rosario, who hasn't really panned out. He's not going to be the future at shortstop for the Mets. Let's just be real. They have the cash. Steve Cohen is willing to go and give whoever the new GM is the money to go give him a new contract when it's time. And Francisco Lindor is also a huge leader, and the Mets, they need that leader to just hold the locker room together when they blow a game. I mean, Francisco Lindor can be that guy that holds the team together and makes it so that they just don't completely derail and then just miss the playoffs. Okay? So I think the Mets are a very good spot too, big market team. Now, this is where things get interesting. I'm going to be bringing you 3 interesting teams right here. Number 1, I'm going to go with the St. Louis Cardinals. Okay? The Cardinals made the playoffs this past season. They defied odds. They had so many games backlogged because of COVID-19, but they made the playoffs. The Cardinals have talent on their team, okay, and they can definitely upgrade at shortstop. Now, I do like Paul DeJong. He's a good player. I like him, but would you rather have Francisco Lindor or Paul DeJong? The answer is simple. You want Francisco Lindor. The St. Louis Cardinals have shown an ability in the past to go ahead and trade for stars. I mean, they did with Paul Goldschmidt. What an amazing acquisition that they made. They were willing to go and get the big name. And they can go ahead and get another one in Francisco Lindor. Pair him up next to Paul Goldschmidt. Excuse me. That's deadly. I mean, I wouldn't want to face that. You already have Colton Wong, nice building block. Matt Carpenter is still okay. They got an outfield. They're going to go spend in free agency too. And this Cardinals team, if they go and acquire Lindor, I mean, I could definitely see them making it far to the NLCS or something like that. Not to mention their division is also getting weaker by the day. I doubt the Brewers are going to continue making the playoffs. I mean, maybe in a few years once they shed some contracts and get some more younger guys in the building, they can. The Cubs, they didn't really look that good this season in my opinion. I mean, Chris Bryant's most likely gone. Their team is getting older. They're regressing. And the Pirates, they're not there yet. This is the prime opportunity. The Reds are the only contenders in that division, true contenders in my opinion. It's not to say that the Cubs are just trash. They got good pieces. But this is the prime time if you're the Cardinals to go ahead and win the division. And you do that by trading for a guy like Francisco Lindor, a bona fide star, a leader. I mean, that's what you want, okay? So I think the Cardinals, they also have the payroll to afford him a contract come a few years. So I definitely see them I could definitely see them being that team that goes ahead and makes the move. And they've depth in their farm system, so they can make a trade. Now, these next 2 are a little bit shocking, or it might be shocking to you guys, but in my opinion, I think it actually makes sense. Okay, now, we're just going to start with the more realistic one, I could say. And this is the Miami Marlins, okay? The Marlins, they overachieved the season. They did great. They beat the Cubs in the wild card round, and they moved on. They're a young and upcoming team. Now, they do have some veteran presence. I mean, Starling Marte, they picked up his option, and that to me is very telling. They think they can go compete this upcoming season. And the Marlins have the lowest payroll in baseball. They can afford to give Francisco Lindor the contract he deserves. He can be that star that they haven't had since Giancarlo Stanton. And not only would it help their team, it would help their attendance, which would help them make more money, and that's something they've struggled with is attendance. Francisco Lindor would be the face of the franchise in Miami. Not to mention, they have a loaded farm system. They have all the talent in the world that they can go ahead and they can part ways with some of them to acquire Francisco Lindor. Now, they do have Miguel Rojas at shortstop, but he's played second base in the past. In my opinion, what you do, you stick Lindor at shortstop, you move Miguel Rojas to second base. John Birdie is not really going to be... I'm not buying into him. I mean, let's be real, you'd rather have Lindor over John Birdie and Miguel Rojas over John Birdie. He's just simply not that. He can be a nice bench option. If you really want, if Brian Anderson struggles, you could put him at third, but this would really solidify the left side of the Miami Marlins infield with Brian Anderson, and then you add a guy like Francisco Lindor. First base is the only position that is a little bit in the air. I mean, they'll probably bring back Jesus Aguilar, but I think the Marlins could definitely do it. Now, they are a building team, so I don't expect them to necessarily actually make the playoffs next year, but I could definitely see them making the playoffs in 2022, and Francisco Lindor would help them a lot, in my opinion. I would love it if they went ahead and traded for him. They got the pieces to go make a move. You need a star on the team. Your team looks promising. Mattingly did a great job with that, and you throw in a guy like Lindor. It would be lovely. Now, this is the last team I have going. I think people should be talking about the Cardinals and Marlins a lot more. I think it's very possible. But my last team is the Seattle Mariners, okay? The Mariners, they're not so good right now. But they have young guys in their farm system, in their organization. They have some solid pieces, okay? Jared Selenick, or however you say his last name is, I think he's going to be called up in 2021. Kyle Lewis just won AL Rookie of the Year. He looks to be the starting center fielder next season for the Seattle Mariners. And they're getting younger, okay? And why I have them on this list, Jerry Dipoto loves to make trades. He loves it, okay? He made the trade with the Mets a few years ago to ship off Cano and Diaz. That was a big trade. That was a humongous trade. And I think it was great for the Mariners. But I think it's time for him to reverse track and instead go ahead and trade for this star, in this case it being Francisco Lindor. J.P. Crawford does not look like the future in Seattle. It didn't work in Philadelphia. They got rid of him for a reason. He was okay in the first half, but I mean, I don't really see him being that piece to stay on that Mariners team and them handing him a $10 million a year contract. I don't see that. They have the payroll to go ahead and afford the contract that Francisco Lindor wants. He would be a great addition to that Mariners lineup with Kyle Lewis. I mean, the 2-3, that would be perfect. Or even lead off Kyle Lewis and then you put in Lindor. He could be that leader and that star that Seattle really hasn't had. Okay, they haven't really been relevant in a long time. Their division, I'm not so sure about the A's for the upcoming years. They could be very well on the decline, even though I like the pieces that they have. The Astros still look good, I'll say that. The Rangers are in rebuild mode, so there's that. The Angels, until they get pitching, they're not really gonna be a serious contender. Build right now, Seattle. You do that by trading for Lindor. You keep on developing your prospects in your system that you're going to call up because you have some good pieces. I can't really name any off the top of my head right now just because I looked at more of the other teams rather than the Mariners, but I know that they have good pieces and they have some pieces in the farm system. Go trade for Lindor. So those are my 5 teams, and I'm just going to say the teams I don't think just because I don't really think the Dodgers will. I mean, they could, but honestly, Gavin Lux, I mean, you might as well just stick him at second base. Corey Seager went off the season. I don't really see a reason to go ahead and make a move for Lindor. Stay young. I mean, you don't really want to be having that much payroll if you're the Dodgers. And then the Twins, it's interdivision, and they have Royce Lewis, who's a really good prospect who plays shortstop coming up soon. But anyways, those are the 5 teams I think could go ahead and trade for Francisco Lindor. The New York Yankees, the New York Mets, the Seattle Mariners, the Miami Marlins, and the St. Louis Cardinals. So let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with me on some of these teams? And I'm very curious to know if you guys agree with the Cardinals, Marlins, and Mariners, or if you at least understand why I'm putting these teams as potential destinations for Francisco Lindor. But expect some more of these off-season videos. I'm going to be doing free agency videos going over players and players that are free agents, and I will be discussing some trade rumors and destinations. So let me know what you guys think. Appreciate it if you stayed this far into the video. I think we're coming up on 10 minutes. This is a big video, a lot of talking, but I really wanted to get this out because I think those last 3 teams I mentioned, I think they could actually really be in play for Francisco Lindor. So let me know what you guys think, and I will see you on the next one.